Hey, everybody. We are here tonight to celebrate a most festive of day. A very special day to me. I don't know how the rest of you guys feel. I'm sure that you appreciate the day. But today is Batman Day,
It
2025.
is.
That's crazy to
I
me.
dressed appropriately.
I wore this one. I wasn't gonna wear my shirt that said the Batman because it looks like it says Thebitman. So
Hey, Thebitman was a really underrated DC hero for 5 seconds, okay?
he definitely was. I actually did that with the old Batman character. I was like in my video, I'm like, hey, I got you something. And he goes, what the hell is Thebitman?
I'm looking forward to that one getting posted.
Yeah, it should be up by tomorrow at the latest. I wanted to have it out today, but I got interrupted so much today, and yeah. Anyway,
The Deadpool Batman crossover actually gave me an idea we should talk about, but first I need to print a Wolverine mask.
Okay, I do have one. Not a great one, but I do have one. So today we have with us Lunchbox Warren. How you doing, buddy? Have you been?
Been doing good. Working my ass off trying to get some money in my pocket after the move, but things are doing good.
That's good, man. And do you like your new place, obviously?
Yeah, I'm getting it's still doesn't quite feel like a home. This is the first time I've lived solo probably in like 11 years, so I'm still just getting used to and settled in and getting stuff set up, but I'm very happy with it.
Awesome. Also, we have Professor Savage Dad. What's up, my man?
Not much. I keep hearing an echo of myself, and it's going to drive me insane until I figure it out. Only I'm hearing it. I assume none of you guys are hearing it, so I do appreciate that.
Great.
There we go. I think that may have done something to it. So that's
you're very low now, though.
Why the fuck am I low? Did it make me lower? Am I louder now?
Yeah, you're louder now.
Yeah, you're loud.
Okay. So I poking around with my sound, but other than that, it's been just kind of chill, clean it up, finished the youngest's room, a massive throwaway of crap, and then after the stream tonight, I'll be going into my garage and throwing shit away so I can get to my 3D printer again. I store everything throughout the summer that's like large stuff that I just don't want to throw in the trash or kids' toys or clothes in the garage. And I have a lot this year, so I'm going to go to the nearby Goodwill and make their day.
That's
getting rid of all my crap.
Whenever you can get a ton of shit out of your house, so then you can collect even more stuff in like a year.
Just making room.
I'm actively trying not to do that, but like when I've got like not Indiegogo, a Kickstarter campaigns screwing up and sending me doubles of a $50 book.
Dude, that's
kind of hard. I don't even know.
That's a win.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Wow.
I'm not complaining. Thank you, Kelly Jones. I'm going to thank him on when I get access to my X account again. They unsuspended me this morning, and then via email, and then failed to actually unsuspend the account. So, and I actually had to resubmit an appeal again, and I just copy and pasted here's the email you sent me, dumbasses.
Yeah,
you gotta unsuspend it. Yeah, it's retarded. So,
and we also have Grave Pape here tonight. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's awesome to be here on this panel. I know I'm kind of a lightweight in this area, but man, I've still been getting in the mood for this dark and brooding character for Batman Day. I had a recent tragedy in my life, and I'm feeling in character. So, hell yeah, nice to be here and talk about the guy.
Yeah, but
sorry to hear that, man.
I'm sure you know like enough things that you can appreciate Thebitman for. I
appreciate Thebitman.
Yes, he seems like a good guy. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was how was everybody introduced to Batman? And I'll go first, and then we'll go the same way we went. We'll go Warren, Savage, then Gray. So I know I've told you guys this before. Like I was, very sheltered life. So, but one of the things I was allowed to do is read comic books. And one of the reasons why I was allowed to do that is because my grandfather, my dad's dad, when we lived in New Jersey, we all lived together. And in the war, apparently, like he said, comic books were like a premium because someone could spend money at home, like 5 cents, get you a ton of reading material and send it to you. And it was a lot cheaper than getting actual books that weighed a lot or, cost more money and stuff like that. So around the camp, there would be tons of comic books being traded around. And he used to read at the time, which was Shazam, but Captain Marvel and Batman in Detective Comics. Those were like things that he read. So I got a whole bunch of stuff from him that was like free. And I wish I wish my grandmother held on to that stuff. Not they weren't in great condition, but still, like, they were some really, really old comics. And that's how I got introduced to Batman. But the way that I got introduced to him was the old comic when he still carried a gun and still shot people in the face and did stuff like they was fighting vampires and werewolves and the monk who had like the crazy powers, stuff like that, mind control powers. So when the animated series came out, I was very, very excited. Like, I was like, oh, wow. And it totally blew my mind because it was like, that was a little bit after I had gotten introduced to The Dark Knight Returns. It might have been a year or so after, even though it was written, I think, in the 80s. But I think I read it in like 1990 or 91, something like that. So, yeah, it was pretty awesome. But Warren, how did you get introduced to Batman?
Originally, it was the Adam West Batman movie where they dehydrated the World Council into dust. It had that great scene where he had the bomb and he's trying to find a place to put it. And there's like a marching band. Yeah, that was the first time, because where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of comic. There wasn't access to comics for me. Comics were in a town about half hour away. So I discovered Batman through the TV show, and it wasn't until I was in the Army and I got back into comics, it was The Dark Knight Returns that brought me back, because I here was a character that was always kind of treated kind of campy, and then I read The Dark Knight Returns and I was just like, this is amazing. Like, this is I absolutely love this. And I remember just tearing through the graphic novel, and I must have bought through the years, I must have bought like 10 of them, because I wear out one and then go buy another one and just keep going, or I give it away. So it's like, hey, you guys need to
read this.
Yeah, you got to read this. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was that Adam West Batman was the first, first
awesome.
Real.
It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, the Penguin sub, the Riddler, Joker. Yeah, it was just that was beautiful. But yeah.
So a little trivia note. This is Gray will appreciate this a lot. So Conan O'Brien and this other writer, I can't remember his name, something might have been Friedman or something like that, from Saturday Night Live, when they were doing that before he went to The Simpsons. Conan, they were obsessed with Adam West, and they thought that the movie, the Batman movie, was like the top of dry comedy. They thought it was the most amazing thing ever. They actually came up with a series that filmed a pilot called Look Well. You can find it on YouTube. Okay. It's if you like dry humor, it's fucking hilarious. So what it is it's Adam West, and in the show, he was a famous TV detective named Bannigan, right? And he's like going to, like, the first scene you see is like him sitting at an audition, and he's got like this Elvis like wig on, and it's for the new Happy Days, right? And he plays it straight serious, so he can't get work. So he hears about a car that got stolen, and he thinks he can solve cases because he used to be a TV detective. And he just gets in the way of everything and ass backwards figures out stuff. Doesn't really know he's doing it. But if you look for Look Well, episode 1, you can watch it on there. It's written by Conan O'Brien and this other writer. So that's funny about Adam West. But Savage Dad, how did you get into Batman?
My first introduction to Batman was with demanding to go see the movie because of how fucking cool this looked.
Dude,
when I saw this thing on TV, I needed it. I wanted to go see it. I knew that it was Batman, but I was like, I was into the car. Like, say what you will about some of the things Tim Burton did with Batman. This Batmobile, that's my peak, man. That's the fucking coolest Batmobile I ever saw.
Do you remember the first time whenever they showed the preview for the movie, but they had the McDonald's commercial where they showed the bat, like when they threw the bag in and then the fire came out the back of the bag. I was like,
dude, that was it. I was like,
that thing is awesome.
I want
so awesome.
So I wanted to see the movie. I remember the freaking theater that I saw it at. It isn't even there anymore. I was a kid. I lived over by a mall near town. It was this Harkins Theater. It had like 5 theaters in it. And we went it was in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the day. I can even remember that my mom was worried that we would not sit still through a 2-hour movie. But we did. At least I did. I don't know. I don't remember necessarily how my sister was with it, but I saw that and I was like, yes. Like, I remember being so jazzed when you got to see the fucking jet engine shoot out of the back of the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Peak Batmobile, man. But yeah, that was my introduction, was the original Batman movie. Like, not the original OG movie, but the Tim Burton movie, like that first one back in 89. Mm-hmm. That was my peak. Like, I love that. I even have the it's a little more hard to get down, but I have the Bat plane as well from the Lego sets.
Those
awesome. Dude, I had to have those. When I saw those drop, I'm like, that's some peak nostalgia for me. Those are my, my Batman, some, core childhood memories about loving superheroes. And after that, then, when the cartoon hit, not too long later, really, after that, what was it? It was in the early 90s that dropped.
91 or early 92. It was one of those times.
You had, that was back in the days when you had, Batman the Animated Series, the entirety of the Disney Afternoon, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, and freaking Darkwing Duck. Yep. Superman hit after that. You had the X-Men and Spider-Man. Like, that's the golden era, I think, of when you had afternoon cartoons after school.
Yeah, I think Batman was 1991 because X-Men was 92 and it came after. Yep. And I remember because I remember the X-Men documentary. They said that dethroned Batman. It was like the first cartoon that took over the viewership. So it was probably 91, probably around there.
Yeah. And then that's you got amazing. Spider-Man not long after, like that like, I don't know what that was, maybe a decade or so, or half a decade of just like fantastic, good quality television for kids. So you can say what you want about it, but it had good narrative, it had good storytelling, it had good heroic characters. And it's sad that kids don't have that kind of shit today unless we give it to them.
One of the best animated shows around that time was actually the Silver Surfer cartoon. I think it only had 14 episodes, but if you watch that, it's on Disney Plus right now.
My dad loved that.
It's literally like not panel for panel, but it is fucking close. It is very close to the original Silver Surfer comics.
I watched that with my dad when I was a kid because he was a big Silver Surfer fan. Like, my first comic I ever read was Silver Surfer Warlock Resurrection by Jim Starlin. Hits way better today than it even did back then. But
what an amazing guy to get started with, Jim Starlin. Like, how do you go wrong with old Jim Starlin?
No, dude, there's no going wrong with him, dude. But that was my thing. It was always that. It was, then there was obviously the toys and shit. I loved action figures. So any Batman toys, I get it. I had a number of the movie toys. All of them got destroyed because they were very poorly made back then, but they were fun as shit.
They were. They were.
But yeah, that was my introduction to it. And in all honesty, I didn't even get into when did I get into like Batman comics? Like, in honest, I was a Marvel guy first, and I didn't read a ton of Batman at first, but I want to say it was probably the late 90s when I started picking up Batman's books. It was Spider-Man and a lot of Marvel stuff first, and then,
Well, you didn't miss anything because the early 90s Batman books, because I remember them very vividly. So they were okay. There was some that weren't, but it was like how I had subscriptions back then. So I was
getting some iconic shit though.
There was. But I'm saying in syndication there was like Batman, then DC, then Shadow of the Bat, then that's what I'm saying.
Oh, there was so much bad stuff.
That was like I couldn't afford the $1.75 subscription, so I got Web of Spider-Man, which was still 75 cents, and I got Shadow of the Bat, which was 99 cents.
I remember both of those
got
books
delivered to my house. Yeah, but Gray Poupée, how did you get into the Dark Knight?
Yeah, so the First thing, I know my grandparents showed me the old Adam West one when I was just like a kid. So that was just kind of for the longest time what I thought Batman was, which I dug it. I mean, even that version is great. I don't know exactly. So they definitely showed me the movie, but I don't know what channel it was or even how they had it because they definitely didn't have it on like a DVD or a tape or whatever. But they actually showed me episodes of it. Like tune in next week for at the same bat time in the same bad place. It was kind of awesome, but man, was the camp like over the top. So I just kind of thought that's what Batman was. And then, so I was kind of a poor kid. At one point, neighbors took pity on us, and a whole bunch of toys were like donated to me and my brother. And in that, we got a whole bunch of those original like '89 Batman figures. Like those figures were just amazing. They had the stupid little clip-on cape thing that would always come off of those, but man, he had a million different paint jobs on that exact same costume, and just it was like, what the hell is this thing? Like, I love this thing. This is not that Adam West thing. So I kind of retroactively, as a very young kid, then convinced my parents to, like rent me this or let me find a DVD. And anyway, then I got to see the Batman and Batman Returns and Batman '89, I should say. Both of those just like amazing. And then I kind of lived through the Schumacher, whatever the hell you're going to call those other Batman ones. And just none of those movies kind of capture me like that action figure did. But then suddenly I realized, hey, there's this show that's playing every day. And it felt like it just came out of nowhere. But Batman, the animated series, is totally what hooked me. And just Kevin Conroy he is my Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably still the best representation of Batman in
I think so.
In media,
yeah.
It
most
is.
accurate one by far.
It is. It's the best. In my opinion, it's the best.
For sure. And then from there, I got some of the real stuff, the direct. Not that the animated series isn't, but they created some of their characters. They weren't necessarily using all of the Rogues Gallery. But then I got at a bunch of yard sales, just like these 90s ones. But man, there were some gems in there. I remember getting the whole like Nightfall arc, and just man, I still love that arc, even as weird as it is. But
no, it's good. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it still holds up. I actually just read.
I need to finish the first Omni of it. Actually, I have that. And I was going to pick up the second and the third Omni for it, but no, it's. The only thing it's missing, I think, is it's not on newsprint. The art would hit a bit differently, but you go back and you read that, and it kind of makes it makes me actually really frustrated with what DC has done with Bane since his inception. He was at inception, he was the perfect counter to Batman. He was the perfect other side of Batman. He was intelligent. He was a tactician. He was huge. He was a great fighter, and then, obviously the Venom kind of was that thing that put him over the edge and, helped him break the back of Batman. But, they've just kind of shit on the character a bit. I feel like they've made him less serious, and that's frustrating because he was such a good foil. He was written so well.
Yeah. Bane. I ended up getting the Nightfall, the paperback ones. These are great. These are fantastic. This is Night's End, but there's they did Nightfall, Night Quest, and Night Quest. End.
Yeah, Night Quest.
Which is great. Like, and a lot of underrated characters. I was actually going to go into that. A lot of underrated characters that were in this book that are very crucial to early Batman, because early Batman was very different. Like early Batman, when he was just, fighting, someone stole a jewel from some rich guy, and Batman's gonna be in the house, but nobody knows he's there, and the police are also, how did they get in there? And there was these characters. There's Gloves and Ricky. Gloves and Ricky were like the first two gangsters that he went up against. They were like the subjugation guys. They were like, do anything that the boss said, right? And these dudes were like indestructible. Like Batman would throw them off a giant building. Like they would be dead as shit. And then next week, newer Gloves and newer Ricky would come. They never gave him a name, right? By the time you were on like all new Gloves and all new Ricky, you're like, God damn, these dudes just get around, man. But like Harold Allnut, he's like one of my favorite guys to bring up. because like if you weren't reading Batman in the early 90s and you go and you hear about, Nightfall, you're like, oh man, this I've heard so much about this. And then you see this little freaking gremlin walk out of the Batcave working on a car, and you're like, what?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Is this? What is that?
Was definitely really different.
Yep.
There's other lost characters. Jean-Paul Vallée, like there's just like I don't know. Nobody.
Jean-Paul Vallée was such a he disappeared, and I liked him, and I liked Azrael as a character. I think the aesthetic of the character looked great. Like I love the costume of him.
Azrael,
and I was so disappointed that he like one of my other favorite DC characters, John Henry Irons, completely fucking memory hold
so
after New 52.
Yeah, you're right.
Steel was fantastic. Steel would have been Steel. If they would have kept writing him like they wrote, like, not even just after the death of Superman, like at the times when he was in Grant Morrison's Justice League and other things, they could have kept up. Like all you got to do is keep up with these characters, guys. In all honesty, I feel like the Shaquille O'Neal movie fucked the character. Like DC didn't want to deal with it anymore after that. And it's guys, it was a shit movie.
Yeah, it was a terrible movie. It was. And it should never have been made. But you're right. Like Steel is one of my favorite underutilized characters. Like
he's got a great backstory.
The Triangle era Superman. Like if Steel's not in that, it doesn't work. That whole like 7 years does not work. It would still be made, but it doesn't work as well as it did. You know. That character goes from nothing to everything, and like you could watch that arc. It's like someone who had a specific arc all the way. The seeds were planted, and boom, there he is. And he had, he was a hero that didn't come out of like spurned. I hate everybody. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like some self-righteous butthole, and he was just awesome.
Exactly, he was
all four of those were. But
yeah, all of those ones were really good. He was my favorite. Like him and Superboy are my favorite too. I like kind of that different dichotomy. Like Superboy,
the Cyborg
was very different than Superman. Cyborg was turned into a great villain. I will say.
Yeah, Hank Henshaw did turn when him and Mongol. We were just reading that like the other month when him and Mongol like just destroyed Ghost City, dude.
Oh, dude, fuck.
That was heart-wrenching.
They did do a kind of Steel version in that Lois and Clark series they did recently. The CW
I haven't watched it. I've heard it's great.
It's a great series, and they brought Steel into that. He's kind of like a multiverse character in that one. But it's they did a good job bringing him in on that. So it was weird how he disappeared because he was a great character, or he is a great character.
Yeah,
and there's no reason why he shouldn't be pushed. Like he's almost like they completely forgot him.
Yeah, it's that thing that frustrates me so much about modern characters when we're out there. We need more representation, so let's just race swap an existing character. Like, no, you had good ones you fucking abandoned.
Yeah,
you just walked away from them.
Dude, Marvel's the worst though, dude, because
Marvel is the worst.
They literally have Blue Marvel and they have done nothing. You have one of the most strongest fucking characters in the whole Marvel universe, like top 10. And they
bring him in like for 5 seconds, say, "Oh, look, the Blue Marvel was here."
Yeah, and it's
and then you don't see him for 5 years.
Priest's Blue Marvel was crazy, like, and I don't know. But do you guys have any like favorite like not unknown, but like characters you go back and you're like, oh, I totally forgot that was a fucking character. Because mine, like I said, was Harold Allnut. That was just the funniest shit.
Hey, Harold Allnut was at least considerably more significant than Harold Sumnut, though. So.
Well, you got to go all the way. I guess mine is that Jean-Paul. Is it Valley or Valet? I always read it Valet. Mm-hmm. Is it Valet? Okay. I just always read it. I never actually saw him in anything. I just feel like he's a forgotten character. Just, man, I love that art.
Game. He was in the Arkham game. The Arkham Knight had a whole side quest with him in it, and he also was the protagonist in the sequel to the White Knight series that Sean Gordon Murphy did.
White Knight is underrated too. Is a new one that's not bad.
Oh, it's great.
I thought it was fun, man. I thought it was a fun book, and it told the backstory. I thought was really cool, man, and the art was phenomenal. Good.
Sean Gordon Murphy's amazing. Like his artwork is just every page, like his splash pages were just works of art by themselves. But yeah, his storytelling's good. I like the characterization of Joker. I like the Batman in it. I love Elseworld stuff where they do little twists and add things to it. I'm a sucker for those kind of stories, and this is one of the better Batman version ones that I've read in a long time.
Yeah, I'm reading the Elseworlds Black Label right now. The Immortal Legend Batman. Cool suit, different take on everything. He's spacefaring. So it's very wild. Yeah. It's very bloody and gory, which is, Black Label. So, but yeah. There's so many characters. Like there's
another one I think of.
I can't remember the doctor woman who fixed him.
Oh,
I can never remember her name.
Oh, she was also the one who helped out Stephanie Brown. I know who you're talking about, and I forget her name. Damn it.
And I can never remember. I'm gonna.
Is it the old lady that was in Hush? Are you talking about her, or are we talking about a different doctor?
It might be. I can't remember. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Yep.
Like the sweet little old lady.
Yeah, I can't remember who she was. You know who's been forgotten, kind of from the. I'm not sure if you'd call him an antagonist or what you'd call him, but the Creeper completely fucking disappeared.
Gone.
Oh yeah.
Gone. Justice League Unlimited was like his last thing that I remember him in. He had that episode with Wonder Woman, and that was it.
Yeah, and like he was fun. He was I like those manic characters sometimes when they're done well. I remember the animated episode that he was on that they used him was really good. Yeah, like he was such a different kind of Batman guy, but yeah, completely disappeared. There was another one, not like the Creeper, but Ragman was another one that he was in
something. He was in
New 52. No,
he was in something, an event. He was in an event.
He was in an event.
There was Deadman was in it. And they used him to.
Was it one of the Final Crisis ones?
No, it was one of the something with the Spectre. Because remember, they were using him to like take the spirit away from the guy. And
Identity Crisis.
I don't remember, but the doctor, I looked it up. The doctor I was thinking of in Nightfall was Chandra Kinsolving. The doctor I think you're thinking of, Warren, was Leslie Tompkins.
Yes.
I thought it was Tompkins that helped, but I was like, no, because I remember there was like some meta stuff going on whenever Batman got his back fixed, and she has like the Kinsolving is like. It says like it's a meta-human with healing abilities who helped heal Batman's back during the Nightfall saga. So, but yeah, and there was Tim Drake's dad. That whole thing that was going on when they had the tunnels that were going to each other's houses. When Jean Paul got all crazy and like started sealing up everything in the Batcave. He was like brick walling everything, dude. And then Tim couldn't get to his dad. And that whole thing happened. So like there's a lot of stuff that happened during that time. And I think like that and the Nightfall and then No Man's Land were just
the Cataclysm earthquake set that up. And then No Man's Land was
unbelievable,
huge. That was I mean, God, everybody got their fingers in on that one, and that was a bit. I think Chuck Dixon was even in on that, but this was late in his time with Batman. But like Greg Rucka's Batman run, people forget how good Greg Rucka's run was. Not only did he have a great run on this, the novel is fantastic. Yes. He has a great. This is a first print too. Like this is OG. It probably stinks. I haven't opened it in a while.
If you listen to
smell good.
the graphic audios, which are, I mean, if you can get,
you sent me one of them. I haven't. I've listened to it for a bit.
That's the actual No Man's Land that they do is the Greg Rucka thing. But I got
Rucka's run on Punisher, also very underrated. People should not forget that he did a great job on Punisher for a while.
These 3 omnibuses right here is the entirety of No Man's Land, and all publications of Batman and everything was all that took. So you think of like how continuity is now, and one guy can't do. Imagine everybody is writing and collaborating on one thing.
Yep, and it's for a year, dude. That went on for a whole fucking year. I have every single floppy of that still in my
fantastic. fantastic.
You see, that one was 99. I'm just saying the 90s had some good stuff in there.
It did. That's what I said. Early 90s had
6-year
some
gap between
hilarious
those
stuff.
two, but still.
Some hilarious stuff, though. It did. It did. Like I 90s is like something my favorite time because it was like I was old enough to, have remembrance of things like the 80s is more.
Yeah, he was in high school then.
Jesus Christ. The 80s is more nostalgic for me, and buying comics and going out there and getting my own stuff. And of course, I picked the worst things, but they're still great to me, But so Gray, when you saw Batman the Animated Series, like you said, you'd first seen the Adam West Batman, so it was a little bit, it was a lot campy to you. When you saw, did you see the 89 Batman before you saw the Batman Animated Series?
I'm almost positive I did. I think I saw both that and Batman Returns because I knew who like Catwoman was, who a lot of these characters were once they got introduced, and like who the Penguin was. But still, it's just that felt right to me. Like the Tim Burton one, it feels like a Tim Burton movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just nothing really felt like Batman until that animated series for me. And after that, I got familiar with the comics. And it's like, yeah, this is what that is what it's doing.
So how did it mess with your brain?
With
how did it mess with your brain when you thought something was this way and you saw it? Well, what the fuck? There's something different, and it was drastically different, obviously.
Yeah, just the Keaton Batman versus the original 60s Batman, just Adam West. It was a real trip. Kind of, I didn't understand that it could be the same character and that was supposed to be the same character. I just kind of up until that point thought essentially that comic books are cartoons, so they're trying to do like a live action cartoon. And when I saw what Tim Burton was able to do, it's like, okay, wait, like there's more stories like this. And then that's when they kept kind of telling me that there were more of them that I could see. And then suddenly I just kind of realized, I think it was all around like the same time within a few months, that wait, that's on every single day. Like I can just watch Batman the Animated Series. And I couldn't have started from the beginning, but I've seen all of them like when they were running it, because they would run it at least twice a day, every day where I was at. And man, I definitely caught it.
I remember the first episode on Leather Wings because, like I said, it was one of the few things that I was allowed to do. And even my dad was like excited. He was like, we're going to watch it. It was on Fox at prime time. It was on at 8:30 p.m. I remember, and we watched it and we were blown away. We were like, wow, this is like, they took it seriously. And my dad liked it so much that we actually got to see Mask of the Phantasm in the theater.
Oh, nice.
And I was
Very
like,
nice.
It was, really well done. That was like one of the few things that we bonded over, was like, even before he died, when I came back here to help them out and stuff like that, he'd always be like, do you have any more of those DC animated movies? Let's watch some of that. And I was like, all right, man.
That's awesome.
Good. Yeah, it was one of the few things that we had, because everything else, we were so drastically. I mean, him and my mom, they're opera singers. Like, I can't sing for I mean, I can, but it ain't gonna sound good. I'm the only person in the family that has no singing ability.
Oh man, I can't wait till you get this channel monetized so we can do super chats for that.
It's bad, dude. Like, everybody in my family could sing. They all sang at church, like all of them. They'd sing their songs, and I'd be sitting by myself, like, I suck. I'm sorry. I sounded like I smoked cigarettes when I was 7. Like,
Dad, I need some orange juice.
Yeah, give me some. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I can't watch Batman till my homework's done, Dad.
So Warren, obviously the Batman the Animated Series was very influential because it was an easy medium to to watch. I mean, so many people watched it. And do you think that stuff like that, like the Batman show, the X-Men cartoon, do you think that led a lot of people to actually go check out books, as opposed to now where it sometimes does, but you don't see the actual profitability from it?
I think some. I know I was kind of like that because I remember, when you finally get into a comic shop your first time, and for me, I was a late bloomer on that. It's like you recognize Batman from because you watched the animated series, the Tim Burton movies, and then with Superman because I was a huge fan of the Christopher Reeves, the first and the second one, Superman. And so when I finally got into a comic shop, but I don't know how many people of that drove to comics, to be honest, because I would figured the movies in this last decade plus would have done more help than anything, but they didn't move the needle at all.
I mean, but you got to think like back then we didn't really have the internet at our fingertips, so like we had to get entertainment in a different way.
Yeah,
if you look at the X-Men #1 that sold a shit ton. If you look at the numbers before the show compared to after the show, it's night and day. I mean, it was going from like 1.6 million all the way up. The #1 sold 8.8 million, and then it was steady at like 4 to 5 million for a while. And I mean, you'll never see numbers like that again unless shit goes crazy and we have nothing left.
Another thing that we don't have now was if I watch Batman the Animated Series and then my parents go to the grocery store, I go to the magazine area and there's comic books there. And I'm like, oh, I saw the cartoon. Now I want to buy the comic. The accessibility of comics for kids back in the 90s was way more than it is now. And now, I tell my comic making friends, I'm like, the comic shop is great. I love comic shops, but a 12-year-old has to convince their parents to drive. And sometimes if it's the only closest comic shop is in the next town. Hey, mommy, drive me a half hour into town to go into some downtown Main Street area that's probably not going to look that nice to go to this little hole in the wall comic shop because I want to read Spider-Man because I watched the movie. The availability is a huge problem that they're having with losing the use. So I think not having it around as much because you don't like kids. There are kids out there who love Captain America, but don't know that he's a comic character. Because they don't ever see a comic book because the only thing that's available at Walmart is coloring books and stuff along those lines. There are no floppies. There is no spinner rack. There is no section in the kids or in the magazine area that has comics. They don't even sell comic books with the toys. So it's like, if these kids want to read a comic book, it's like, well, yeah, there is one in a comic book shop, 30 miles away in downtown Portland, it's like, so yeah, it's availability. I think is a big thing for the not allowing that gap.
Right. And I think also entertainment has changed, I mean, even regular books are down as number sales. And I mean, you would hope like with my kids, the way that I always raised them, even my older ones, whenever they were younger, I showed them shows from whenever I was a kid. Cause like I actually sat down and I would watch the stuff that was on and available for them. And I'd be like, man, this is just kind of dumb. Like it's kind of just
really weird.
nonsense.
Most don't hold up. Here's a few.
Right.
There's a couple of them. And I think you've already discussed two of them, but man, a lot just doesn't hold up. What was your experience with this?
So what I did was I first showed them Looney Tunes. I that was like the first thing that I showed them because it was like I could go out and buy like a silver edition, which had like 100 cartoons on it. And I bought all 4 and it had like, there was something like, it was almost like 460,
of course those,
8-minute cartoons.
Span the test of time. Like they were old when we got to see them and they fucking worked. Like those are great.
Right.
But so, what about like Tiny Toons or something like that? Like something from the 90s. Does that shit hold up?
So Tiny Toons, I wasn't as big a fan of personally. I liked Animaniacs. And I think Animaniacs holds up because it's genuinely funny, and it wasn't written just for children. Because what kids at that age is going to get Dana Delaney references? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, or who's going to understand the shoe salesman?
It was from that area where it's like the parents are going to watch too, so let's throw something in for them. Yeah,
correct. And there are some shows like, so I got the kids, I bought them DVDs of like Gummy Bears,
but at the same time,
didn't really care about. But they love Chip 'n Dale
even when
Rescue
Gummy Bears
Rangers.
was on, I kind of didn't care about. Oh, they better love Rescue Rangers.
They loved Rescue
Just one more thing
Rangers.
about Animaniacs, though. Like, it was for the parents too, but at the same time, like, they actually taught kids. Like, that's the only reason
They
why I
did.
know like where any capitals are is that stupid song.
Yes, the capital song, the state song, stuff like that. Which was fun. It made learning funny. There was things to learn from it, which was like when we were talking about in the comedy show that we talked about. They don't really make TV like that anymore, and if they do, it's not as widespread as it was. There's not that 3-camera, family show, or there's not that animation that's hand drawn and you could tell everything is so refined and so neat now, and it lacks heart, I guess. That's, you look at the old X-Men 92 show. I mean, I'm sorry, the animation in it is not that good. It's not good.
But the story is
the
there,
stories
man.
are great. The stories are great. You look at the original X-Men pilot, which is funny because they actually took money from the Punisher to make that pilot, the X-Men Pride of the X-Men, which I have it on my channel. I put it up, and that was phenomenal. It was the same people that did like G.I. Joe. Even like Cyclops was voiced by Duke, the guy who does Duke's voice. Like there was all these in the animation. If we would have got that, dude, like that animation was top notch and excellent. But like you said, the stories were there. I even go back and watch that stuff. So
mock that animation, but watch the final season. It can be worse. Like the animation gets
awful.
so bad.
It is awful.
Yeah.
So, I think that's where you test the line. And whenever my kids got older, I did show them Batman, the animated series, which they loved. And how I did it was, I remember when Batman premiered, it was on Monday nights at the first time it was on at 8:30, but then they did Mondays at 5 p.m., right? It was right before the 5:30 news. So what I did was we would, as a family, all of us, once a week, I would put the DVD and we'd watch an episode. And I made them want to see it more. I tried to give them the experience that I had without going, all right, let's binge watch all the DVDs, So I think that too creates a lack of talking points. When you watch a show, like say something like the TV show Lost, when that was on once a week, so many people would sit around and talk about it, but when you can watch everything all at once, yes, people will be talking about it for a week or so, but as soon as it passes and it's done, it's over with. So I also think that plays a line in entertainment that books can cure, but kids don't read as much as they used to. Like my generation of parents are not getting their children to read, like where I could sit at home and there might not be anything to do, but I got a ton of comic books. I could sit there and read an adventure and have fun and be with those characters and learn from those characters. Like a lot of these, like Warren said, don't even know they're comic book characters. So it's like, who knows what parents are
saying, but they have the
kids.
access to all of them now. Like
they do, but they don't go out.
I was scrounging garage sales to man, I scored when I found the one that actually had the Nightfall arc in it. And even there, it's missing some of it. And to this day, I think I've read it all, but maybe I'm missing a couple. I definitely didn't have one of the omnibuses, but they've got everything at their fingertips, like those digital memberships. I don't know, it's crazy. I also hate Spotify, but man, I've listened to so much more music just because I don't have to have the physical copy of it.
Yeah.
Anything's at my fingertips.
You've got Global Comics, which has DC on it, and it has millions of subscribers, and the kids are reading. They read manga like crazy digitally. So if Marvel hasn't really tapped into it, DC's all hands on deck. So they're in Global Comics. They're creating the compacts. They're starting to show up in dollar stores. You're finding them at Walmart's, and it's so they're kind of getting to more places, and then adding themselves to Global Comics was a big thing for them to get more eyes on there. So yeah, it is there for them. It's just availability and just in trying to snag them in.
Right. Maybe it's different for me because it's whenever my kids were young, my oldest, I knew other parents who taught their kids this is what we did. You read. I don't know any kids right now that sit around and read books. I just don't.
I don't know any.
Maybe
I make mine do it.
Right. Well, that's what I do it with my youngest son. Like we did the Sonic and DC crossover, and he has his Sonic books, and he's starting to get into a little bit more stuff. So I'm starting him on Spider-Man. So not new Spider-Man. Good Lord, no. Yeah. But
no.
I digitally that I'm sure there's tons of subscribers, but I don't know. I still don't see like children reading. Maybe it's just it's not Fortnite. It's not.
They read Minecraft. Sonic.
They definitely read Sonic. Is that as
numbers.
Printed as it was? If it was printed like mass printed like these books would, we would have a real.
That's the thing. Comic shops don't keep it in stock. Like you can't even keep it. They can't keep them on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Like if you go to a comic shop, I guarantee you maybe will find one, but you're not going to find even back issues of it. That's what I was talking to the guys at the shop about. He's like, yeah, if those, because I was telling him I was getting it for my kids, and he's like, make sure they bag and board them. Those things, like they'll go for money resale.
As much as
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like I don't know. I don't know, because if it was, that would be the best selling.
I would imagine they would print more if they were selling them, but like I don't know, man. Like the shops are always sold out of them,
right?
Like when I try to find back issues for my kids, I can't find them.
That is true, because even my shop, which has a lot of stuff, I was only able to find from the latest art like 6 of them, and it was one each. There was no other copies in the bins, and he was like, he even told me, he's like, when I went up there, he's like, dude, you just buy the trades. He's like, you're never like this. You'd have to be here when
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes,
Sonic
the Hedgehog.
Really?
He's like,
IDW Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh yeah.
He's like, when we open. He even told me, he's like, when we open, you will have to be here, or that shit's gone.
Do you think? That's
I got that on my box pull.
Or is it the movies are doing that? Or?
My kids liked Sonic before that, dude. This is the thing. I was arguing with somebody on X back when the last Sonic movie came out, and then Mufasa supposedly made more money than. And I'm like, yeah, but what are kids talking about? I don't know anybody who talked about Mufasa after that movie.
Don't know any kids that talked about Mufasa.
Yeah, but they were geeked out over like even my teenager and his friend came with us. 2 15-year-olds were geeking out over Sonic 3 as much as my younger 2 kids were. Like Sonic is like Gen Alpha Spider-Man, dude. He's like that's going to be who the kids probably remember. You've got the Sonic cartoons like Sonic X, they watch obsessively.
Sonic
the
Boom,
Sonic Prime stuff, Sonic Boom, all of that stuff, dude. That's their thing, dude. Like I like if I went on my table right now, I would find a minimum of 10 Sonic pictures that my second
awesome.
son.
When I was young,
he's always drawing Sonic.
Old Archie ones, the old Archie Sonics where Spaz was the artist, and
whenever he sees those, he wants me to get one. Like he always likes they have like these old expensive ones that you can find at the comic shop of like the Archie ones, but you don't even find those back issues. I don't even know where I'd find Archie Sonic.
You remember the old cartoon? Not when it first came out, the cartoon was serious. It introduced Sally, and it had Urkel. Geo White was the voice of Sonic, and then it went super campy. But that first iteration of the Sonic cartoon,
and then it had that weird futuristic one,
chili dogs all the time, right?
Oh yeah, he loves his chili dogs.
But then there was that weird like second version of it where he jumped into the future. That one was weird. That one
was very serious.
Yeah, that was
very serious.
I've only watched like the first episode of that one, where it's like Tails is like a robot.
Yeah, and he's got like the cyborg eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, like and maybe that's the thing, and where Batman, I think, plays a lot into it is where the Trinity, in my opinion, they're the most popular characters with Spider-Man and Wolverine. I would say Wolverine, possibly.
Maybe still once upon a time. I don't know about like today, but I mean, at his peak, Wolverine eclipsed almost everybody.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, it seems like the Trinity, though, they transcend most everything. And it's probably because they've been around for so long. And, especially Batman and Superman. Superman, whether you think the new movie was good or bad or was a success or wasn't.
I might watch it tonight. It's on streaming. So James Gunn lied again and actually said it wasn't going to be on streaming anytime soon. It's on right now. Like
it's been on streaming for like a month.
It just hit like this week for
now it's on HBO Max.
Oh, HBO Max. Oh yeah. I was saying you could watch that like a month ago.
No, he said that they weren't going to put it on
$10.
HBO Max anytime soon. Like
Well,
now, I think
he's lied
Peacemaker
about pretty
just
much
ended.
everything, dude. He's pretty
Yeah,
much
I
because like
I
I
don't
don't know if
trust
you
him.
guys heard about the new The Batman, right? There was a thing that came out that supposedly Clayface was supposed to be or is the villain, and how he's not, the Batman's not supposed to be part of the DCU or whatever. And James Gunn,
I mean, I'm all for it.
all he said was this. He was like, because there was a sticker on one of these dumpsters, and it was like in the movie on the set, and he goes, well, I don't know. I don't think anybody put that there intentionally. And it's like, that wasn't the question. We're asking, is this part of your DCU? And he never said
Yeah,
no.
but I'm talking about the
that.
intention behind the sticker. Come on, man.
No, correct.
I really hope they don't do that. I
don't know.
hope
I
they
think
don't.
that the movie was popular enough, and the Penguin series was really fucking good.
Dude,
Like,
it was great.
That was really good.
I love
was
the
good.
Penguin
So-
series, but I hate realistic Batman. I think it's
Yeah,
I don't think
Well,
there's
I-
been a
I don't know,
good
man.
live action version of Batman, honestly. But I don't like serious like realistic Batman. It's the newest Batman movie is what Nolan did on crack. It's not even original. It just irritates the shit out of me.
And I can
I
understand.
liked it better.
Understand. I can understand that because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. What depictions of Batman, because of how the animated series was serious, but there was still stuff like the Grey
Yeah.
Ghost episode. There was still that part where
Heart of Ice,
where a lot of the
yeah.
older things, like I was talking about before, and I think it was like the 3rd or 4th issue of Detective Comics that Batman was in. It might have been 31 or 34. He went up against a dude called the Monk who had like powers that came out of his fingers, and he turned his first fiance, by the way, he's turning her into a werewolf, right? And Batman ends up going, and the one of them's a vampire and one's a werewolf. So they were going to turn her into a werepire or a vamwolf or something, right? So Batman fashions some silver bullets out of a candelabra and waits for them to go to sleep and opens their coffins. And he's just like, well, you had a good run. Bang, bang. You're dead. See ya. But there was still that mysticism and like, that type of stuff in those things. So I can understand not liking the realistic interpretation of Batman, but I can also understand that people like that street level Batman in movies. I can also understand that, but I'm with
Nirvana.
you. I like something like The Dark Knight Returns, where it's street level, but it's also ridiculous because there's like a gang of the mutants that were kids and the guy and what's her name with the swastika nipples.
I wish I wish
it's
we
so
saw
ridiculous.
a live action version that's like the Arkham games, because the Arkham games are like PG-13 rated R animated series. Like you have all of the characters there, but it has a much more grittier kind of look to it, and it has all the fantasy there with still being that street level kind of a feel to it, and that's what Batman should be, in my opinion. This whole realistic
You might
stuff,
get that though.
Well,
That
I hope
might be
so.
what you're getting with Gunn, and they've already said like this isn't attached. And you're right. Like I watched it and I was like, this is the world's greatest detective, but he doesn't solve like one thing. Like he's just brooding and listening to slow Nirvana. But there's no, I don't know. To me, I didn't get it. And then I saw the Penguin, and it made me retroactively like go back and watch it. There's some things that I really dig about what he's doing. I could really dig what he could do to Clayface, and maybe I'm just a simp for Clayface. I'm super excited for Gunn's movie for it. I love body horror, and I just always loved the cartoon depiction of him. I thought that could really translate well to body horror. So when I heard this, I'm all on board for it.
Two-part Clayface.
I hope that's going to be good.
One of the best.
Yeah,
one of the best, man.
But
I
know, like it touched me so much, and well, that sounds weird. It meant so much.
We're not on MSK.
Where did the Clayface touch you? Show me on the Gorgu doll.
I could see like kind of a realistic version of that on top of this one, and then maybe we're gonna get that awesome Gunn version of this. Superman's not perfect, but that is the closest to the comics I've seen out of any of these recent iterations of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll get that with the Batman in this one, but I'm kind of on board for this. And they even announced possibly Penguin season 2. I'm kind of on board for that, even though I think they're just going to ruin it.
It's hard for them to not do it after how well received it was. It won fucking awards this past week. Like everybody from everybody, people who didn't even like the Batman liked the Penguin, because everybody's favorite thing with that was Colin Farrell's Penguin, and that was he took the movie away from what the fuck's his name, Pattinson's Batman.
The Penguin made me like the Bat. I was one of those people, whereas like the Penguin, I liked the Batman more now because
if they would have cut the last hour off of the Batman, it would have been an infinitely better movie. It did not need to be 3 hours. And I did the Riddler shit made no sense. It was hot ass.
I didn't.
They could have had somebody else blow shit up.
I just didn't like the depiction of the Riddler. I understood
stupid.
that they wanted to make him a maniac and blah blah blah, right? But there is a reason why you don't use the Riddler. Because if you're not going to do the riddles and they're not good, then you're just another guy that kills people. You're just another dude that fucking does dumb shit. And I'm sorry, that last half hour to me with the YouTube and the fucking, he had
500 followers. Don't you know how big he is?
It just bothered me to the point where it was like, they wasted Pattinson, in my opinion, because that dude.
I hear what you're saying. Slow Nirvana.
Yes. I like Pattinson. There was a movie that he did, and
it's the movie. I know what you're talking about. It's what got him this role too.
Which one?
Pattinson. I know it. I'm trying to remember the name too. No, I forgot the name, but I know
it was the one where he had a brother, and his brother was like slow and went to jail.
Oh, what was that called?
And
I know what you're talking.
Dude, that movie was amazing. He was fantastic, and I thought he did a really good job voicing over in the Boy and the Heron. If you watch it in English, I had to watch it in English just to hear what he sounded. But I don't like watching anime in English. I just don't. But
I will say that for the Batman movie, the one thing that I thought that they got better than any other Batman film was the beginning of the film, where you see the kids spray painting and the can drops and rolls into the shadow. Yes. It's like they visualized what his whole aura is supposed to be like, where you think that like every shadow the Batman could be there.
First 30 minutes is fantastic.
Oh, it's fantastic. It is just great.
They got Gotham right. They filmed correctly the way it was supposed to be filmed. I thought they got that part right. But as soon as like he's just like starts doing, I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
His Bruce Wayne is by far my least favorite Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne was like the lead singer.
I don't know. George Clooney was pretty.
Do we count Joel Schumacher's anything?
Yes,
I mean,
yes. You know why I do? Because they are comedy gold.
Bat skates. Come on.
Yes. Bat credit
nipples. I wanted the bat nipples to actually cut glass. That was one thing I think they missed out on.
Might.
Bat nipples, bipples.
Did you know he had bat skates before he clicked the side of them?
Actually, I did, because I have the Brave and the Bold 70s where he uses bat skates.
We were talking about that this morning.
Blades. Sorry.
I want to know who in the casting area was like, okay, Mr. Freeze, super scientist, wife's frozen. Who can we play this? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, who the
Everybody
hell?
Chill.
Everybody chill. Get to the freezer.
Yeah.
It was the 90s. And it's an action movie. You already had DeVito in Return, so why not?
I thought DeVito was great.
I know, but I mean, you've got the other half of Twins. Like, why not put both of them in this?
For sure. I mean, we are talking about the era that brought us to Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. So,
what's interesting with the Riddler? If you look at the Adam West Batman movie, the Joel Schumacher with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, and then with the most current The Batman. All three of those iterations, the Joker and the Riddler, well, not the Schumacher one. It was the Tommy Lee Jones essentially, and the Riddler played the same character. It's there's really not much difference between the original Adam West Batman's Joker and Riddler. They both have the laugh. He's not even doing that many riddles in there. And then in the newest iteration, him and the Joker are essentially just the same character. Like, they don't give him any kind of differentiation from the Joker in a lot of these iterations. Like, the Riddler should be almost like Hannibal Lecter, mixed with like this game show host, intellectual type. Yeah, not like just another version of the Joker with a green suit on.
Did anybody see the deleted scene from the Batman with the Joker?
Yeah.
Yes,
that is one of the
so
worst.
Glad they didn't use him.
Worst scenes. The dude it looks like they just crumpled up a bunch of chapstick and put clumps all over the dude's face.
It's Nolan, but just more. So it's like his version of Joker. Why is he scarred up? Why does the Joker have to be mutilated in his face? Why can't we get a Dark Knight Returns style, like almost like Tom Hiddleston type kind of looking Joker, where he's almost a little bit effeminate, but then he slashes your throat and the next three people next to you? Instead, it essentially
we gotta let
all the Batman is just Nolan cranked up to 10. Like,
well, I think they were taken from the Snyder. That's what they were taken from. They were taken from the Snyder Joker. I mean, let's be honest. Like Death of the Family Joker. I mean, it's bizarre.
It was just terrible. I hope they recast it. I hope they move on and do something different.
Plus, they got like Barry Keogh, the dude from fucking with the Eternals, that was like just what?
Yeah,
he's a hot name at the time. He just won something for Saltburn, so or he had been talked about being nominated for it. I think when he got cast as that. They're trying to use some interesting actors. When I heard Colin Farrell was playing the Penguin, I was like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, why are you uglying up that man? But fair enough.
It worked out.
It looked great.
I mean,
it did.
I know not everybody liked it, or some people did, but I loved Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, even though that isn't really
the first
hopefully
one.
Never in the first one. Yes, I didn't even bother with the second one. When they told me it was going to be a musical, I was.
Yeah, it's my second favorite musical of last year. It was great.
what did MSK call it? You called it the Joker Foley Ducks.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Foley Ducks Joker.
Foley Ducks.
I mean, it's kind of
we find a clip of that.
It's what I fear is going to happen with the Penguin season 2. Like the first musical. Joker made $1 billion, so how do you not make a second one? And then can it ever live up to that? I really hope we're not in that same situation.
Well,
I hope they know where to go.
It depends. If they make it an extension of what the first season was, it can work. If they try to make it something that it's not, that's in my opinion
that's their problem.
The story could be there, right? It could be fine. It's it's a good story because there's enough characters in the Batman universe that the Penguin can use and can interact.
They teased some really interesting developments in that very last scene. That's why I kind of thought I knew where the Batman 2 was going, but they showed a mask and then a glove with needles on it on a piano in the background. It's like, oh, okay, I know where they're going with this, but perhaps I'm wrong.
And plus, Penguin's going to be, it could be wherever Batman 2 leaves us. So it could be a whole different situation in Gotham. It could lead to some really interesting storytelling.
True.
Like, I hope Sophia Falcone is I heard she's not in the movie. I know that even Colin Farrell's Penguin's only in it for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was kind of surprised on Penguin season 2. I figured they would just pick a different villain and do a series with that. Like I wouldn't mind if it's another villain and they do, but if it's as good as the Penguin was, because the Penguin was just amazing. But it'd be interesting to see where Gotham is at the end of Batman 2. Like what depends on the villain, depends on the situation. I guess it's going to be another mystery kind of deal. But he said he's using a villain that hasn't been used before. So I'm wondering, Court of Owls, Hush, Clayface, but done in kind of a different, maybe plastic surgery kind of way. I'm not 100% sure how they would do it.
They have to know that they're in production on the other way. I don't know. I guess I didn't hear the Clayface thing. I saw something that showed Mr. Freeze and then something else on it. I never clicked on the article.
How do you do Mr. Freeze at a super realistic?
I have no idea. But that's what I was wondering with Clayface as well. I'm all for it, but I love body horror, so I don't know.
I don't know. I think
I would Hush it myself. I mean,
if it was me, I would stop making Batman movies, and I would make shows. I would make shows that were like 10 episodes. You put everything into it.
Arc seasons.
you have a main villain, but you also have Monster of the Week episodes where he takes down some crime stuff or a lesser villain while the main villain is working his magic.
You do that in the build up seasons. It's exactly what Marvel should have done and failed at doing.
Well, of course. Yeah, because when you see the Hawkeye show,
Eyes of Wakanda, though,
as opposed to the scene in Endgame where those two meet up after he's Ronin, don't you want to see what he was doing as Ronin? Wouldn't that be the best Hawkeye show?
Let's just skip that. Fuck all that.
Okay, but what if they're in New York? They can be like right there at the Prometheus and Rockefeller Plaza.
I've said this for a while.
Up the new Hawkeye. So
I said this for a while. What they need to do with the superhero movie needs to die as a genre, not just because everybody hates it and we're tired of it. A lot of people are, and that's fine. But really, the story is told considerably better if you get a 6-episode arc out of it, or a 10-episode arc, because you can. This is the problem that all these movies always end up suffering from. You rush character development, you get no world building done, you get no you don't even get to understand the characters, understand the world, and these different people come in that are almost insignificant to the movies for no reason. And it's like it's so choppy and it's so rushed every time you watch it that it's like every superhero. There's never been a superhero movie I've seen where I just wasn't like, I really wish I got more from. Like, I'm not getting the feel I do from reading the comics. I'm just not. It's its own thing, and they can be fun, but they're not the same.
I'm really digging what DC is kind of doing now. Like, I get it. A lot of people don't like Peacemaker 2 as much. I think it's got potential. I'm still in on it, and man, I loved Creature Commandos. So I kind of dig what they're doing there.
Peacemaker, but there's some things that threw me off that I did not care for.
For sure. They don't have everything explained this time, and they could go really hard into how they're going to finish this, but we'll see. But people are at least still kind of watching that. We're like, Marvel, did any of us watch Ironheart? Did any of us watch Eyes of Wakanda? Have any of us watched Marvel Zombies, which just dropped?
The only thing that I watched from
exactly,
I haven't even heard of that one.
No one has.
The only thing I watched from Ironheart was I wanted to see the last episode, and I fast forward to whenever Mephisto. I wanted to see what their interpretation of Mephisto was going to be.
Just go to YouTube
and it was the only cool thing. Well, because it was all through the episode, though.
Oh, okay.
It was all through the episode, and I understood it. And Sacha Baron Cohen can do really cool things, but to me, it was after school special, fucking Mephisto.
I would hate for it to become like that. Like, yeah, I would hate for it to become like the CW, where I don't know. Peacemaker seems like it's fun, but it's not necessarily meant for everybody. Where like that Superman movie was. It's weird the way that they're marketing, where he is saying you need to follow this story somehow. But
the problem
that's another story.
Is weird
with people with the Superman movie was. I just didn't like how people were like, oh man, it was all over the place. The plot was it had no plot. And I'm like, dude, they literally told you there was a reason for everything. I don't understand if you read anything from the 90s, this was Lex Luthor from the 90s. This was literally Lex Luthor's. I even told people there was a fucking comic where he runs into Mr. Mxyzptlk, right? Mxyzptlk. He gets a red piece of kryptonite and is before like the red sun bullshit. And he thinks that he's stronger, right? He thinks that that's going to make him stronger, but he doesn't realize that it's making Superman weaker, right? So he literally Rube Goldberg's a device like this to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to split Metropolis. It's literally the same fucking thing. It's in the movie, except without the kryptonite. It's literally the same shit. And I'm telling these people, I'm like, the stuff that you're praising, all that stuff that you are praising, you're literally saying is stupid because it's in a movie. Well, that's not a thing. Really? It's not? I can tell you the pages. I can tell you. It's there. Now, whether you like the movie, that's completely different. But Superman wasn't strong enough. He wasn't this, he wasn't that. They literally give you a timeline of this is literally his first fight against something big. He just got his ass kicked. He's at like 70%. Like, they tell you all of this stuff. So I understand it, but there's also stupid things in the movie that I did not like. There's things that I did not like in the movie, but overall, the movie was fine. It was fine. I enjoyed the movie overall. There's some choices that I didn't like about Krypton, obviously, and the parents that I just did not like. And this is how I thought about it. I'm sorry, Savage Dad. I don't know if you care that I say this.
No.
Okay, so people were like talked about, the message, right? That was a big fucking problem.
This is something I'd heard about already, so yeah.
Okay, so my thing was this: if they were going to go that direction, right, and we know that it's a real message because they beat it into our heads that it's real, it's not altered in any way, wouldn't it have made more sense in the movie that Superman did know about that message but still chose to do right and to do good, right? Because then Lex's whole thing about he's been grooming us, all the stuff that Lex has been saying over the years, right? That one thing could have explained why the people turned on him, as opposed to the freaking maniac that has had a vendetta, and everybody knows he's had a vendetta against him, who for 3 years he's done nothing but help us. What? And then Lex says this? It's like, come on, man. Like, to me, it would have been more impactful. And you didn't need that to make it so that Ma and Pa Kent, which the scene between Clark and Pa Kent was one of the best, in my opinion, is one of the best depictions of that relationship that I've ever seen on film. It's not like, hold on, let me get sucked up into a tornado. It's nothing like that.
As much as I
like real
love the actor. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's real Pa Kent, and like it makes sense for the end of the movie. It makes sense.
I think you're right, but I think they're kind of cutting that arc into this way they can kind of have their cake and eat it too. Like Clark was always good, was groomed, but you do have another super who did experience it and is making the choice, and then everyone who's kind of dying for an explanation, I think they're going to get it with Supergirl.
So do I. I do
agree with you. I just think they're switching that to Supergirl. Mm-hmm. Exactly what you wanted, like the choice.
I've watched Superman a lot now because I bought it on digital. I love the movie in theaters. I watched it a couple times that way. And I will say that James Gunn did a lot in writing wise. He did a lot of things where it's like, we're going to go from A, B, C, and D, and I'm not really going to concern myself whether or not everything science-wise or makes complete sense. I'm going to do it because it's good for the story. Like one of the reasons why he chose what he did with Jor-El, and the whole point of it was that Superman based his entire life around this message. Then when he gets that, he has to decide who he is as a person, and then he makes that decision on his own. So that was kind of like his character growth moment. But at the same time, though, it's like it's done without realizing, like, you realize that there's a lot of ramifications to this. Like,
yes,
like why isn't Supergirl now? Like, is this actually like you've pounded it in that this is Jor-El? So is this an entire Kryptonian thing, or is this just Jor-El? Is this, like, the fact it did seem weird. It's like there's no way that it's not real in a time period where I can go on to the computer in less than a minute and make a song of Cartman singing Metallica that comes with a full video with cats in it dancing. And I could do that in probably like less than a minute with a couple prompts. So to say it's like, well, there's no way Lex could have faked this, or Brainiac couldn't have faked it, or anyone couldn't have like altered the message in order to corrupt a young Superman when he gets sent over here. Like, it could be a whole Brainiac scheme. If that's true, that all that's not possible, that this is Jor-El, there's a lot of questions that come from that. It's like, why isn't Supergirl a warlord now? Why did she just know about this and choose to? Like, does she know that Kryptonians are essentially Viltrumites now, or did she? Or is that just a Jor-El thing and she didn't agree with him? Like, Jor-El was an asshole and she's just kind of like, well, hey, I'm sorry, Clark, but, Jor-El was kind of a warmonger. It's, I don't know. It asks a lot of, it brings up a lot of questions. And I really hope it's not something where like James Gunn's like, well, I'm going to do this to help Superman's character development, and then we're never going to talk about it again. No, which could very easily happen. Like, we could go through the entire Superman movie or Supergirl movie and not mention it
in a Q&A that they will be talking about that. specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, so they did. Okay,
they're
cool.
doing
I believe
the
he did.
actual arc, which I don't know how hard they're going to stick with it, but man, she gets to see some real tragedy and destruction. Like it's trauma. So that should explain it. And it kind of makes sense. And you're right. It is kind of turning them into Viltrumites or whatever. But, you know, we're all familiar with the concept of like Viltrumites now. Like what would a race of super, I don't know. Would they all be super nice?
Yeah. And it's not out of the realm of continuity that there has, we've seen this before in comics.
Yeah.
I think the problem for me was, when this is the first movie that you're making, right? And this is the hero. This is the guy, in my opinion. This is the guy.
For some, it's Batman.
Right. That's fine. But this is your first movie of the new DC era.
Mhm.
And I felt like if there's little threads that are not fully sewn, and yes, it could be setting up other movies, it could be doing that. But with Superman, you need the definitive, this is who he is, this is what he stands for, and this is where you're going with him. There could be other stuff that's not, you know, that we don't get answered, but those are the things, the foundations and building blocks of Superman. Because every
and it could have been executed better, but we kind of got that with this weird arc, even though they chose this route to get there.
Right. And you're right, because at the end he does, you know, hey, this is my real family, like this is who I model myself after. Right. But you also have to use the foundation of that, right, to make other things make sense, to make why he has opposition to Batman but still respects him, to make where the Justice League isn't just a, you know, we're just going to randomly put guys
Martha,
together.
though.
You can,
well, that's the good.
Martha.
That's one thing to say too, is that Zack Snyder tried to prove how Superman is the way he is by having him break Zod's neck in a train station. James Gunn is like, no, Superman's like this way because his dad was a dick and he found out about it after 3 years with this message or whatever, and now he's decided, well, I'm not going to be that asshole that my dad is. You know, with Snyder's, it was like, no, I want to have him kill a guy so you can learn the value of life.
And it was more for me with the new one, it was more he had always in him the teachings of Pa Kent. The stuff that he was holding on to was just stuff, and he realized that it is just stuff. It's not what he is. What he is that representation of Pa Kent. But like I said, it's got to be to where the other things that spawn from him, Justice League, meeting Wonder Woman, all of those things, you can go, I understand why that's happening. I get that. Superman would do that. He would definitely do it. And I thought they did do a good job of him always trying to make the right decision. Of
saving
always
the squirrel, saving the
always
people.
Standing up for the face of right, no matter what. Because that's the thing with Superman. How hard would it be as a human for us to we know what the right choice is, but we always have to make it, because you can't always make the right choice every single time as a regular person.
Oh, I'd turn into evil Superman in about 10 minutes of having the power, I think.
Well, it's like the Family Guy thing where like they find out that his X-ray vision is actually like radiation, and like all the women have cervical cancer and breast cancer, and he's like, oh, what's that? Oh, gotta go. Yeah, like, but I think Savage, I think if you go into it with like, there are problems that as a comic book fan you'll have, but if you just go into it and want to enjoy it, dude, I don't give a
That's
fuck
what I want to do.
Anybody says. The flying scenes in that movie were fucking awesome.
They look a little weird. I'll have to see it like in the scope of it. The one problem I had from the onset of the movie, without just from the trailers and everything else, is that, like you said, this needed to be a definitive, this is who he is.
Mhm.
And there were so many other fucking people in it. I was afraid that it's going to be hard to get to who he is with the excess cast.
But it's not, though. But it's
no,
not.
it's not. It's
not.
Yeah.
And the main one that honestly they actually do stuff with is Mr. Terrific. The other people in there are very few and far between.
Yeah,
like Guy Gardner, he's in it, but like maybe for a total of like 5 minutes.
They can only keep that haircut on stage for
it
so
actually
long.
It actually helps because you have all of these differing opinions, and here's Superman, and in the film he represents hope from the beginning of it to the end. Like Superman is everyone deserves to be everyone deserves to be here. He loves everybody. He's saving everyone. They go out of their way to show him protecting the city. It's not like Snyder where he throws a fuel tanker into a nursing home in order to take out Zod. So it was
protect the city. Yes,
and all of the other characters help show that and amplify how good of a person he is. Even Lois it shows, it helps reflect his character. So they do a really good job of keeping it focused on Superman, even with all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, that's good
for sure. And I've seen a million kaiju fights. I didn't think I needed to see another one, but man, to actually get like some emotion out of it and to understand like what his motivation is versus
it's cool. It was definitely cool. Like, he definitely reacted the way Superman would react. A young Superman. He definitely reacted and I appreciated that. I definitely appreciated that. I appreciated Lex Luthor because so many people were like, man, the third speech, because he has about 2 or 3 speeches in it, and I'm like, then you don't like Lex. That's just it.
I thought that was the best Lex since Smallville. Honestly, I thought it was the best Lex Luthor since Smallville.
Yeah. He's so over the top, and it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. But like stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I guess I was changing back to. So I have hope for where a gun could take Batman. I hope he kind of gives that super comic feel, which I'm getting a lot of from the Superman movie. I don't want to be too much of a gun stand. Like, obviously, he could really fuck this up, and it could go very south very fast. Kind of like a lot of what Marvel did. They were just going so far up that it's bound to just go down at some point.
Yeah.
But I think there could be potential for something really awesome. If I can see a version of Batman that's as close as this version of Superman, to me, I'll be super happy.
So we're gonna start closing down here. In closing, like, what do you want to like? We'll expound upon what you're saying. What do you want to see from Batman moving forward? Obviously, the comics have started over at number 1. It's sold. The pre-orders were like something like 500,000. It was ridiculous. And like they're already like it's only been out for like a couple weeks and they're already on their 3rd printing. It's ridiculous. It's like and honestly, it wasn't even as good as Absolute Batman. It wasn't.
Oh, the Matt Fraction one?
Yes. I was not. It was good because Jorge Jimenez's art is good, but there was one thing in it that made me go, he doesn't understand Batman. He does not understand Batman. Because there's a scene where it's about Killer Croc and he gets out and he's like ravaging stuff, but he's not hurting anybody. And this doctor is like talking about how he's changed and he's shedding his skin and blah, blah, blah. And Batman looks her in the eye and goes, people don't change. And I went, you don't even understand fucking Batman, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. That is literally what he is people can change.
Yeah, how many times has he financed Two-Face to get fixed, only to have Two-Face do it back to himself again, and then later he pays to fix it again? I mean,
well, just that. Like, how many times has he saved the Joker from dying? Because that's what people.
The fact that he doesn't kill kind of indicates that he would think that there is some level of be able to change, but.
Yep, and it's I don't know. I was a little bit upset with it, and where is it? Okay, here it is. Right here. He says to her right here. I know you can't see it, but he says, people never really change. Right there. And I was like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was concerned about with Fraction. I'm like, I don't know if Batman's the kind of book that's going to be good for him. Like, I don't know if wasn't sure. Like, he's been good on other things. I just didn't know if he was going to, Batman's not something I would see him on,
Like, I'm going to continue to read it. And I'll see where it goes. Because Jorge Jimenez's art is just, that dude is amazing. He is so good. And yeah. So, but what would you guys like to see from Batman going forward, Warren?
Comic wise, I would almost like to see the ongoing series all just stop, and then you just let people do multi-issue, self-contained Batman stories where we're not worried about necessarily all the lore. I would let the writers go to any point in Batman's history to fill in gaps and play around with stuff. I would like to see people who really love Batman and want to really flex their muscles really get a chance to do it. It's one thing I love. I think Scott Snyder is one of the better Batman writers, especially now. And I love when he gets to just cut loose, and like with Absolute Batman, it's just great. And I would like to see more just self-contained, especially with these legacy characters. The ongoing, just stop it and just start doing self-contained miniseries.
Kind of like what they're doing with the Spider-Man and Wolverine book.
Yes, yeah, just
that
like
is
that.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, like give me a 10-issue Batman Red Hood team up, and or something, and explore their characters. I just think the ongoing, it's just it just gets to be too much, and it's hard to write an ongoing with a character that has been around as long as Batman, has gone through as much as Batman has. All of the legacy characters, Spider-Man, Superman, run into this problem where you have 100 years of, or 80 to 90
years, man.
88 years of history, and you're trying to write something new. I would say don't worry about the continuity. Don't worry about a monthly. Just give me a good story, a self-contained good story. That way people have a good, in points. One of the big complaints about modern day comics is, where do you start? It's just start pointing to runs like Court of Owls or Dark Knight Returns or stuff along those lines, where we get to see we're not worried and bogged down about this weekly ongoing. Instead, or monthly ongoing. Instead, we're just allowing a writer and artist to have some fun.
That reminds me a lot of Legends of the Dark Knight is what they used to do. That was a series they used to do. I think that they should keep Detective Comics running for continuity's sake. But you are right. There is so fucking much Batman made today because it's what sells. It's all dollar amounts. That's all it is. But for the overall quality, I think if you left Detective Comics running and then you ran the Batman exactly as Lunchbox is saying, it's like, this is your opportunity to come in and do Batman. You can keep the numbering or whatever, but like, you get to come in and write a Batman arc. That's and this is the thing though, and this is what Mark Millar has said about the comics, is that the real problem that we have right now in comics is that the publishers don't want to pay talent. They don't want to pay the people who could come in and actually write everything. Like I was saying this, so this is what surprised the hell out of me. Where did I put it at? Oh, there it is. So I picked this up this week. And this, they didn't spend a lot of money on Zeb Wells, but Marvel spent some money on Capullo's art. The art's fantastic. Highly recommend the art. The story reads like, and this is what I would like to see something like, I'm getting to that point, but the story reads a bit like a Batman animated series episode, but with Deadpool in it. It's actually good. It's not bad at all. We should do a last panel on this, Laps. This is actually good. We should do a review.
Yeah, I read it. We could do that.
I liked. Did you read all the way through the
I read everything.
Crossovers. So I was saying this week, like, again, this is something I would like to see. You could do this in the Batman, and this is what I would like to see, just bringing in good creatives. Because what you get at the end here, I saw this and I'd never thought of it before, and I immediately said to myself, why isn't Marvel doing this? Frank Miller doing an Old Man Logan Dark Knight crossover. Just 3 pages of it. It's kind of funny. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I thought to myself, imagine if you did this. You had Marvel do Old Man Logan Dark Knight with Mark Millar writing it and Steve McNiven doing the fucking art like Old Man Logan. And then you bring in Frank Miller on the DC side and do the second half of it of their own book. Fuck. Could you imagine the Millers pay that money? You'd have 5 reprints of that minimum, if not more. People would lose their shit over that.
Yes.
But you'd have to pay for the artist, dude. You've got to pay the people to come in and do it. Millar would probably do it too. I know he's got his own thing, but if they called him in to do Old Man Logan and to work with Frank Miller on the Dark Knight, that's the other thing too. You've got to give them some sort of creative control to do something that they find interesting. Like they've done so much before. These great writers, the Grant Morrisons, the Scott Snyders, the Mark Millers, they've all done this stuff. So you've got to find something that gives them an itch. I'm amazed that Grant Morrison is writing DC's Deadpool Batman crossover. Like they got Kevin Smith writing Green Arrow Daredevil mini crossover in here. Like who else did they get in here? They got Frank Miller in here. Like they spent some money on this book. It may have been short page runs, but I guarantee you Frank Miller didn't get out of bed for less than 10 grand to do that. So
no,
like, they
sure.
They spent money on that. And that's what I hope to see is cut back on the excess and spend some damn money on quality. Trim it down. But the other thing that I think if they don't do this, you're only going to continue to see the diminishment of the character. They have to get back to making fucking children's cartoons. I was watching Batman Brave and the Bold this morning. I don't know if you guys were fans of that.
Oh, yeah.
That is to me, that's the last great superhero cartoon. It died after that. They just abandoned it. Like all it is constant heroics. It's constantly Batman coming in and kind of knowing exactly what the fuck to do to get shit done. But you get to see this machismo, you get to see this straight up heroism, and you just get to see like over the top great shit. Like I took that picture I sent you of like Green Arrow. Batman throws Green Arrow the sword of Excalibur, and he puts it in his bow and shoots at a dragon. Like this is just. Where is this in comics today? This is badass. This is nothing but badass shit happening. And if they don't start bringing, like my 15-year-old loves that cartoon, and he doesn't do superhero shit. But that's the thing, dude. What do we have to bring the kids in? What do we have to even introduce the characters to them anymore? It was children's cartoons. Like most of us said, we saw, the cartoon or the movie or something. And like today, the movies, I'm sorry, the Batman is not exactly
fantastic.
Those are very nice, dude.
I read those are great.
Very fantastic. But they've got to get back to making at least a decent cartoon that kids are going to watch, or it's just they're going to lose it. Well, they have every opportunity right now because nobody else is doing it.
They need to cut back on the scale. Like if you're going to write ongoing, or you're going to have someone write Batman, it doesn't have to be canon defining, disrupting storytelling every time. You could tell a good 5-issue story that takes place in one night with Batman and Nightwing going through a building fighting people for their lives. I mean, you can do stuff where it's a self-contained story and event, but still have it be great. And
my favorite writer, or at least my top 2 favorite writer of Batman of all time, was when Paul Dini actually went in and wrote the floppies. Self-contained 32-issue fucking full stories constantly from that man. Banger after banger after banger when he was writing it. And yes, no reason somebody can't come in and do that. Why? I don't even know why he still isn't doing it. I wish he was, dude. I would buy Batman if they brought Paul Dini back on it.
So great.
Bring him back to write it.
What would you like to see from Batman franchise moving forward? If movies, anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess I'm kind of the most normie here in that.
No, that's fine.
I don't usually buy the comics. It interests me, but I guess I'm just getting the mass consumer thing. The cartoons.
But that's good though. Shows. That's good because you're giving us a different side of what we like. So what
I think less of you now. I'm not gonna lie.
You should. You definitely should.
Well, I think you're making a good point because that's the stuff we need, man. If we don't have those,
you have to get them. That's the number one thing.
I think you're right too, though. So my wife does watch some of it. I just caught her watching most of Harley Quinn, whatever that series is, and man, it's weird. It's kind of like an adult cartoon version of it.
It is,
and then
that's so funny.
Like spun off to Kite Man.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it, but it's not like Batman the Animated Series. Like that's not what's gonna drag a kid into it. Like there is
you kids should watch that.
It's way more Beavis and Butthead than it is Batman the Animated Series.
No, definitely have to grab the casuals for sure. 100%.
I hope there's some way that they can do that. And they talked about doing something kind of like that where they had Creature Commandos. There's some kind of heavy concepts in there, but I don't know. I'd be okay with a kid watching. I would have watched something as bad as that, as hardcore as that when I was a kid. So there might be stuff that they're doing with that, but they talked about like animated features that are kind of separate, and then they kind of talked about like we're getting this Clayface horror movie. To me, that seems like an awesome idea. They're not trying to do the Marvel thing where they make everything for everybody, and if it's not $1 billion, they've made a loss on every single product they're making. Right. So I just want something that's kind of like Superman, but with Batman. It actually feels like the comics, and I don't care if he picks and chooses from a bunch of different runs, because as you mentioned, there's 80 something years of amazingness here. Yes. Like you could just pick the best nuggets and still kind of abridge it in a way. That's what X-Men 97 did, and man, I thought for sure there's no way that Marvel could get that right, and that's as close as you can get with as abridged as those are.
Oh, believe me, they tried to not get it right. They tried.
Well, season 2 is coming. I think season 1 might be an abnormality.
Yes,
Bo DeMayo still did season 2. He did produce that. That was his work. Unless they've retroactively gone in and fucked it up, it should be good.
It seems like they might have.
Yeah, I have a strong afterwards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I have a feeling they were, because they were pissed at him for making that good. They were livid.
Yeah,
Kevin Feige does not want stuff for the fans.
Go ahead.
I hope DC can do something like that, and then I hope the movie actually takes off. Because for me, Superman, I love him, but he's kind of too much of a Boy Scout, where there is always more of an interest in Batman.
Understandable. Totally understandable.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Well, Batman's always been the more wide media character. The biggest one DC has. Marvel has a lot more relatable characters, because Stan Lee kind of had that whole everyman kind of superhero. DC characters have always been kind of like a pantheon of gods. And Batman was always the closest to relatable, even though he was a billionaire super detective. He was still more relatable than Superman and Wonder Woman and along those lines. So I think if they do it right, I think Batman will be their $1 billion movie if they do it right.
I hope
we get a Brave and the Bold, Arkham style kind of Batman, where he's like the opposite of Superman. Superman's hope. He needs to be fear. So we should see that, where everyone's kind of like, oh shit, there's that Gotham guy. That's the Batman. Like everyone should kind of speak with him almost like a whisper, like a hushed whisper when he comes around, like he's a boogeyman. Plus, I want to see.
I really hope they get that tone right.
So,
I hope so too. Yeah. But in closing, go ahead.
Sorry, as far as the Batman too, I had no interest in it, but now I'm kind of interested. If he just needed the Batman to be a warm up to get to the Penguin, man, I want to see where he could go with this. So I hope he's got it down, but I'm kind of excited that that's not the Batman that's locked into this world, that we could actually get a much more comic accurate one, which is what I'm looking forward to. But any way that it makes Batman more popular, hell yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So in closing, I'm gonna say I just think that they need to have something that reaches everyone, where they can either make cartoons, the movie. It has to bring in casual fans. The hardcore fans are always going to be there, and for comics, I really think I agree with Warren. There's so much continuity. There's so many years. You could still pay homage to the continuity and keep it in continuity, but they just need to get back to writing stories inside of that. They just got to do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like this fucking thing that, hey, remember what happened in 1953? And yeah, if they could just grab normal people. Grab the casual fan with movies and TV. There you go. But I appreciate everybody for showing up. I got to go over to MSK here in a couple minutes, which is going to be loads of fun.
Good
Ask
luck.
him tell him I said what it tastes like. All right.
All right, I will. I actually will. That'll be like one of the first things I say. I promise I will.
One of the first things he says too.
Good Lord.
Just says it back. He just says it straight back to you.
First thing he's going to say to me is he's going to look at me and go, hi, fucking my wife. Fucking my wife.
Oh, yeah, usually that's what it is.
You ever have that problem?
I've had sex with so many women. I am so
exactly.
feel bad for his
Like,
wife.
I wish he would get away from that. And like, at sometimes I'm like, could we stop with the sex on your wife and change over to the racist shit at least for 5 seconds?
It
Like,
has
something
been
else.
nice
Change it up.
going through an entire show talking about comics and not hearing random spurging about trans or women.
So this is the thing I will tell
That's
you
the thing.
guys.
Well, that's the thing about this channel. I'm just being honest. I don't want none of that shit on my channel. Not this one.
Well,
They're-
see, if we do this panel again, I've said this before, and I'm going to bring it up again. I think we should call the show MSK All Stars simply for the shits and
Oh,
giggles.
that's the email. The email is the Mac All Stars. That's the email for this show.
Yes,
Hell
yes.
yes.
That is the
Oh,
actual
yeah.
email.
But beyond the one thing I'll tell you guys, and Gray could probably speak to this as well. If you can keep him, and I did this for a long time with him, if you can keep him on the topic of comic books, you will have a very good conversation. That is the thing with him. As long as you keep him on that, like his best conversations he has are with like creatives and people that are like up here doing stuff in the world. Like,
Oh,
So-
I bust him every single time he does. Every single time
Yeah.
he has like a normal person on, right? I go, hey MSK, where was all the bullshit? Where was the and I go in the
Right.
chat and I'm like, and I'm telling them, I'm like, this is all fake. This is all fake.
That's why I think it's a
And then
Kaufman-esque
he
character.
he gets on the show and he's like, dude, why'd you do that in the chat? And I'm like, oh, because it can happen. You can have a regular show. You just choose not to.
dude, he had a
Dude.
great conversation with Gabe El Taib before. Gabe El Taib has been on his show, and it was a very even, like perfectly great conversation that he had with him. Like,
If you really want to make him not mad, because he doesn't really get mad, but if you want to frustrate him, I do this all the time. Anytime he like pisses you off, just say something and go, yeah, does that have anything to do with the summer splits? Just say that, and he'll just be like, fucking hate you. Fucking hate you. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. That's all you got to do. And then
man,
I'm always like, does that go into winter sweeps? And like shit like that. And he's just like, whatever, dude. And he'll just stop and get that.
you got to
look on his
follow it
face.
up too with him, and you got to be like, so after winter sweeps, do the ratings come out? Like, when do we find out like what the new rate's going to be for the advertising? I mean,
Yeah, and you also, like Z said, you also got to praise Kick and Rumble. If you do that,
yeah, I can understand his frustration with Rumble. I didn't even think he'd ever used Kick before.
dude, he probably doesn't even know what that means.
He could get monetized on Kick like right away.
I think he's been kicked.
Oh yeah, well he's definitely been kicked, but he probably said, "Why did you punch me with your feet?" So.
True.
But all right, guys. Next week we're actually going to have. You guys are more than welcome to come. You guys are always welcome on the panel. Next week, I'm going to be talking about 1980s and 90s sitcoms. So you're more than welcome to talk about any of that stuff if you would like
hell
to.
yeah.
So, and then the next one after that will be comic book based. And that's actually, I was going to do the Batman Deadpool crossover.
All right, yeah, I'll show up for that, dude. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one. And freaking Grant Morrison with Dan Mora art, like, wow.
Oh, dude, that's
It's been money,
yeah,
DC.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's like it. Yeah, exactly. But all right, guys, I gotta head out. I gotta make my way over there.
Yep.
So for everybody on the panel, I appreciate it, and we're gonna get this channel rolling. There will be more panels. I know, it's not out there and everything, but you guys are more than welcome to stream this to any of your channels. I have it set up to where you can, and you're more than welcome to actually use this account and set up your own stuff, because I don't care. I'm not greedy. So just let me know and I'll hook you guys up. And yeah. So for everybody here, everybody have a happy rest of your Batman day. Have a good night.
Later, guys.
Later.
What it tastes like.
Batman.